Entrepreneurs, get ready because I know it's been a while, but we are back in full effect. Nothing can hold a business back like money problems. Well, today we're going to show you the money. But first, there's good news for Prince George's County, and that means opportunities for you. So don't go away because it's time to level up.
Build Prince George's is a proud sponsor of Level Up. Build Prince George's, strengthening diverse local and minority businesses 360 degrees. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello, I'm Denise Roberts, and welcome to Level Up. Prince George's County boasts a AAA bond rating, a highly skilled workforce, and a large supply of undeveloped land. The county is served by multiple interstate highways, 3 international airports, and access to the Port of Baltimore. And the metro stations are primed for transit-oriented development and smart growth. We've got federal government agencies, the University of Maryland, Bowie State, Prince George's Community College, and Howard University, Beltsville. And the crown jewel is National Harbor. And here to talk about all of that and more, my first guest is no stranger to this show. Please welcome David Iannucci, President and CEO of the Prince George's County Economic Development Corporation. Thank you so much for coming back to the show.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
So I just kind of listed a resume of the county,
You did,
right?
tremendously.
Yes, hope I did a good job.
You did.
Let's talk about the AAA bond rating, and what that actually means for the county. Why is it important, and what does it mean for business here?
Well, there are more than 3,200 counties in the United States, and there's only 3 or 4 dozen that have a AAA bond rating. So it means that we are a organization, a county that manages its finances well. We manage revenues relative to expenses, and that good management is the county council, the county executive, and all of the leaders. So it is a real seal of fiscal approval for how we manage our dollars here in the county.
So is it equivalent to the credit score of an individual?
I think that's that's a very good analogy. It says we're essentially the highest credit rating there is for a county. That means when the county borrows money for libraries, for schools, for police stations, for fire stations, for roads, it does at a much cheaper rate, and that saves the taxpayers money.
Okay. So what is the state of the county economically, and how does that translate and trickle down for businesses, large and small?
Well, as you know, Prince George's County led the state of Maryland for job growth for 6 consecutive years, and we're very, very proud of that. But like every jurisdiction in the United States, we got hit by COVID, and we got hit by COVID hard. But through strong leadership from County Executive Elsa Brooks and the County Council, Economic Development Corporation, working with our sister organizations, was able to put out more than $44 million to help businesses rebound. And that is the key word. We are rebounding. We have recovered probably 90 to 95% of the jobs that were lost. The County Executive has predicted that by the end of this calendar year, we will have caught up with all the jobs. We have many industry sectors that are showing very, very strong growth. We're adding employment. Our unemployment numbers are down. So there's strength in a number of sectors, and we're very excited about the future for Prince George's County.
Okay. So you talked about the pandemic, and we know that, 95% of the businesses here in Prince George's County are small, right?
That's right.
So what has the county been able to do to support small businesses?
Well, most of the grants that went out during COVID went to small, local, and minority businesses, overwhelmingly those dollars. But there are many, many programs that Prince George's County has to support our small and business minority community. The Office of Central Services, Supplier Development and Diversity Division, certifies businesses, gives them a real leg up and advantage when they look for procurement opportunities from Prince George's County government, but Prince George's County Economic Development Corporation, Financial Services Corporation have many programs that are geared to provide capital to our small business community. But we've learned, Denise, that money is not the only solution. A lot of these businesses need training. They need to understand how to put a business plan together, how to do their taxes, how to set up their website, how to market. So we offer numerous training programs to help our businesses grow and prosper.
Okay. I want to switch gears just for a second. The International Shopping Center Convention.
Oh.
The county goes every year to Vegas, and recently the shopping center convention, or at least a subset of it, came to Prince George's County. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Let's talk about first of all, what is the shopping center convention? And then can you tell us what did we get out of going to that?
Well, the annual event is held in May in Las Vegas, the International Conference for Shopping Centers, and Prince George's County has a major presence. County Executive Alsa Brooks is a part of that. She attends the meetings and is a very, very strong advocate for the county. And we pitch Prince George's County to businesses, to retailers that we'd like to attract to Prince George's County. And we match them sometimes with developers who are looking to fill empty space in their shopping centers with retail tenants that we're trying to bring to the county. So it's a very aggressive effort. Look, Tanger Outlets in National Harbor is an example. Trader Joe's opened just today in College Park, and that's one of our wins from that. And there are a lot of businesses that are here that restaurants and so forth that we're bringing here. It did come to National Harbor, as you said, and that was kind of a mid-Atlantic version of the national conference, and that was held at the Gaylord Hotel, and Prince George's County was a strong leader there, again, trying to attract retailers here.
Okay. What is there anything coming that we can look forward to that I can sink my teeth into?
Yes, there is.
What's that?
But I can't tell you.
You can't tell me. Okay. All right.
But we are working all the time. There are some very exciting restaurant concepts that we think will come to Prince George's County soon. But again, there's the home store in near Wegmans in Woodmore. That's another example of something that's here because of our efforts.
Okay. Well, listen, I wish I could talk more, but I want to thank you so much for coming on, giving us some good news, and hopefully we can have you back on the show again.
Happy to come back. Things are going well for Prince George's County.
Okay, thanks. Don't go away, because we will be right back.
Regardless of where you are on your path to retirement, you can still take charge of your financial future today. Visit aceyourretirement.org and answer a few questions from Avo, your friendly digital retirement coach, for free tips, resources, and advice customized for your situation to help you feel confident and prepared for retirement. Retirement looks different for everyone. Make sure you're prepared for your financial future at aceyourretirement.org.
It's something about having that piece of paper. Some people think that's worth more than my skills.
I've run this place for 20 years, but I still need to prove that I'm more than what you see on paper.
You just gotta be so good they can't ignore you.
It's the way my mind works. I have a very mechanical brain.
Analytics and empathy. That's how I've gained clients.
I am more.
I'm more
than who I am on paper.
I know, it's funny. Welcome back to the show, and thank you for tuning in. For those of you who don't know, there's a new coffee shop in town, and I ain't talking about Starbucks. Our next guests, Tyra and Michael Harris, husband and wife team and owners of PJ's Coffee of New Orleans in Bowie, Maryland. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So PJ's Coffee, we know it's mainly based in the South. I want to just talk to you about what it's like to start a franchise. What is that process like for you? And why did you choose PJ's Coffee?
So we chose PJ's Coffee because we love New Orleans, which is where it was founded. Phyllis Jordan is the name of PJ, so that's what PJ stands for. And my husband and I love New Orleans. We go there. We love the people. We love the culture. We love the food. And we stumbled upon this gem, which is PJ's Coffee. And we wanted to bring something to our community that we loved. And we also wanted to have a place where there was good quality coffee. Okay. So that was the catalyst.
Okay. Okay. So what's the process like for, starting a franchise?
The initial starting of the franchise is, after finding the location down in New Orleans, we really liked the coffee, and, we talked to a person. He said, you know what, we're actually franchising, and we just opened in Maryland. So, at that point, we started our communications with the corporate office. We were originally going to plan to do our own private label coffee company, but at that point we realized that we don't know enough about coffee, roasting, supply chains, and those are the things that gave us concern. While we definitely knew we had the business acumen and we had the ability to market and bring people in, we were unsure about like supply chain. That's a big thing. So we figured we would go with the franchise because that was a way for them to have instant expertise on hand.
Okay. Okay. So, franchising in and of itself, people sometimes try to stay away from that as opposed to just opening up a business that's not franchised. What are some of the benefits of owning your own franchise?
So owning your own franchise, you have the benefit of having the license to do that, to have the branding. So the brand recognition is very helpful. You don't have to go out and try to promote that. It's already there. It's built in. Also, the structure of the business platform, you're able to utilize all the information that they have and expertise, and without having to reinvent the wheel and do it yourself.
And there's also varying levels of what franchises are. People say, oh, this is just a chain. And while, yes, technically it is because it's under a corporate umbrella, each individual franchisee has their own autonomy. We do certain things. A lot of what we have is just the brand. We have the license to run the brand. We have a lot of support, but it is not like it's super hands-on. So, having a franchise helps from the standpoint of branding and also guidance, but it does have the individualness. We own our store. We're in our store every day. We are responsible for the success or failure of the store. Okay. There are other franchises where the corporate office is more involved, and it is more of a chain. When they say it's just a chain, it is more of, cookie cutter. What goes on one here goes on everywhere. Our franchise is a little bit more different. It allows us the freedom to, put our own spin on things.
Okay. And you mentioned that you already had the business acumen, right? So what have you learned as business owners as you run your franchise?
We learned that it's difficult. You get out what you put in. It's hard work. So you want to make sure that you're very present in your business. So there's a lot that you have to consider.
Like what?
We've learned to pivot.
Yes.
A lot of things that are thrown at you, what you thought you were going to do going in, doesn't happen.
Every day is
originally, we were going to open up a coffee shop prior to the pandemic. We had everything in place and we were working towards it before the shutdown. So we were anticipating having sit downs and individual cups of coffee and people sitting back with their ceramic cups, but that changed. We had to pivot with the pandemic. Things were shut down inside. We had to go more of a online focus. We had to do more of a, growing our mobile apps and growing more of a model where people are coming in, grabbing and going. Okay. Fortunately, things are opening up now, so we are transitioning back to what we originally anticipated, but that pivot is huge. You need to be able to do what's going to work with your customers.
And every day is different.
Okay. Okay. And you actually have not one, but two stores.
We do.
Your first one is in Bowie.
Yes.
And now you've got one in Silver Spring.
Yes.
Is that an easy thing for you to open up a second store?
It's not easy. We were fortunate in that the folks who owned the one in Silver Spring, they did not really appreciate the history of New Orleans, and they just didn't appreciate all that it entails as much as we have. And so we were able to get that location. But we continue to open and continue to do what's best for the stores.
And was that your plan to always open up more than one store?
It was.
Okay.
Yeah, we believed in the brand. When we first tasted the coffee, we said, this is really good coffee. It is a really, really good alternative. And then we stopped saying alternative. We say, this is better than Starbucks. And we honestly stood behind it and we believed it. But we also wanted to bring the customer service aspect. My family's from Alabama, so we were rooted in the Southern hospitality. My fraternity, that's what we do. We are hospitality. So what we say is, when we treat people like their family, when they come in, we want people to feel it because we truly mean it. So that's,
And it was also something for our community.
Okay.
You know, we live 5 minutes from our store in Bowie, so this is our community.
Okay.
And we are Prince George's proud, so we wanted to have something where folks didn't have to travel a good quality product right here in the community.
Okay, and so what steps or advice would you give someone who's looking to own their own franchise?
I would say research. The number one thing is research. Make sure your franchise is on stable ground. Make sure when your franchise, if it's growing, they have the ability to support you coming on. Just research your actual demographics and what your area entails, what's your competition like, and whether you'll be able to succeed in that area. That's the number one thing that, you know, I've seen franchisees run into where they thought it was a great concept, but it wasn't going to work where they had it.
Wow,
And
great. Go ahead.
I was going to say, and be prepared. Be prepared to pivot. You know, every day is a different day. You're going to have different challenges every single day. So just be aware of the expectations.
Okay. Michael and Tyra, I want to thank you so much for being on the show, and thank you so much for bringing these delicious beignets.
Thank you.
I wish you best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Don't go away because we will be right back. Welcome back, and thank you for tuning in to Level Up. That's right, it's all about the dollar bills, y'all. My next guest is Doyle Mitchell, President and CEO of Industrial Bank. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. You are President and CEO of Industrial Bank. It is not common to see African Americans own a bank. How did you get into banking?
Basically, my grandfather started the bank in 1934. I was homegrown in the business. My father ran the bank for 40 years, and I started working when I was 16. And when he passed away, the board named me president.
So you've been in banking basically all your life?
Basically all my life.
Wow, okay. So, you know, we want to support small businesses here in Prince George's County. And we know that oftentimes the number one challenge for small and particularly minority businesses is access to capital. What do people need to be able to qualify or get access to capital?
Well, first of all, if you want to go in business, you need to have a plan. You need to start years before you actually want to open your doors, because you need to be prepared. And part of that preparation requires is that you save money. You know, there's two types of capital. There's equity capital, there's debt capital. The bank will provide you with debt capital, but you have to have your own equity, either through your own savings or partnerships with other individuals that want to be part of the business. So once you have that, you should have a plan, and never take a plan lightly, and then have a backup plan, because in business things don't always go the way you anticipate them.
So is that why it's so difficult for minority companies? Are you, I mean, let's be honest here. Are we not prepared?
A lot of times we're not. And just, you know, if you think about the income gap and the wealth gap that minorities have, we kind of start off behind the curve. And so gathering that equity capital of your own savings to go into business is more of a challenge.
Yeah. Seems like we need to learn these things way earlier than we do. and you talk about a plan, what about a business plan, right? Is it really necessary to have a business plan when applying for a loan? Because some people say yes, some people say no.
You don't have to have one, but the plan is not just for the bank. The plan is for you to make sure that you've done all the research, you've studied, about the business that you're in. And many people, work in their industry and then go out on their own. So they may know the business, but how are you going to keep your books and records? Who's going to do that? Do you know how to do that? That's very important for a bank, that when you come in with your business plan, you come in with, financial statements and projected financial statements that are reasonable and believable.
Okay. What do you think, or what advice do you have for business owners when it comes to relationships with their bank? And is there a difference in how Industrial Bank runs and operates versus another bank?
Two good questions. First of all, you should always have a relationship with your bank, not just on the deposit side where you come and deposit money or cash checks, but ask them to speak to a lender, at some point, and get to know lenders in more than one bank way before you actually want to start your own business. So you have some people that you have talked to. You should already know the criteria of what each individual bank is looking for.
Okay.
Minority banks are different. Industrial bank is different because many applications that we get, maybe the financials aren't showing that you qualify. Maybe, you had some spots in your personal credit, but we also spend a little more time trying to get behind the numbers to see what happened here. Why did your credit, in 2019 get a little spotty? There could be some reasonable explanations for that. And if you were already in business, maybe that could affect your business. And now we can understand what you went through to get that spotted credit or what happened in your financials. But what's your plan out? If something happened that put you in a bad situation, do you have a plan B or C to right the ship?
Sure. Okay. Now, as the owner of a bank, you're also a business owner. So how did you survive the pandemic? Because we know that during the pandemic, people weren't spending as much. What do bank owners go through during times like that as well?
I think any bank owner or any business owner, you need to be conservative. Don't grow faster than you're able. Make sure that the nuts and bolts of your business are solid. We have just done an acquisition in Newark in 2019, late 2019, but we were on solid footing before we did that. The acquisition was, I think, pretty conservative. The institution, although it failed, what we were buying was in pretty good shape. So always be conservative in business and make sure you're on solid footing. So when things like a recession come along or COVID comes along, if you go in right, chances are that you can come out right.
Now, are there challenges to a bank when people aren't spending as much?
Absolutely, because if people aren't spending, then the businesses that we have lent money to, may be suffering. And so, fortunately, during this pandemic, there were a number of different programs that we helped to facilitate to our depositors and our business borrowers, both on a federal and local level.
Okay. Now, and we're not completely out of the pandemic, right? So businesses still need help. Is there still funds available? Are there still funds available for that type of assistance?
There has been. I don't know of any new ones recently, but I think there is a state credit lending program that's working its way through the federal government to the state level, and banks that choose to participate can make use of that program, which we did many years ago. It's very similar.
Very similar. Okay. And so You know, when we went through the pandemic, we heard that a lot of businesses weren't really getting access to some of these funds. Can you talk a little bit about that? Do you know what happened there?
The PPP program in particular, basically what you had was a rush to use the money up. And many larger banks were taking care of their mid-sized and larger clients. And once their allocation or the money ran out, you know, there wasn't a lot left over for small businesses. And so what we did, we not only serviced our own customers, but we serviced businesses that were not deposit customers of ours, because we just saw the need to get as much money that we could out to businesses in general.
Okay. And do you work with the county with programs like this as well, or are you?
We do.
Okay.
We do.
All
we
right.
work with Washington, D.C. We work with Prince George's County. And since we were just getting introduced to Newark and Harlem, New York, I'm sure the next time around we'll be working with those jurisdictions as well.
Okay, okay, all right. Well, in the banking industry, you know, because I'm not so clear on how everything works in the bank, you know. But when we're coming to you for a loan, what exactly do I need to have in place?
Most lenders Most lenders want credit, capital, as we mentioned, capacity, collateral, and character. I cannot underemphasize or overemphasize character when you're going to borrow money from someone.
Okay.
So always be honest, be upfront with your lender, and it can go a long way. You know, you don't need to hide the bad, you know, and just overemphasize the good. But character goes a long way in lending money, and then how a bank can get repaid.
Okay, okay.
People
Yeah.
repay loans, not businesses.
Right. Okay, well, that's great advice. I want to thank you so much for being on the show today. And hopefully we're gonna have you back anyway, because we're gonna need to talk about some
love
other.
Love to come back.
Absolutely. So before we go, the holidays will be here before you know it. So here is something to put on your calendars. The Bi-County Business Roundtable will be hosting its second annual holiday reception on December 15th at 6:30 p.m. at the Sunset Room down at the National Harbor. For more information on how to get tickets, you can go to bcbroundtable.com. Also, please don't forget to bring an unwrapped toy for children in need. And that's our show for today. I want to thank all of my guests today, David Iannucci, Tyra and Michael Harris, and Doyle Mitchell. Next time on Level Up, the Prince George's County Council passed legislation that helps small businesses, plus a badass woman business owner and serial franchise mogul. So if you want to see a real live example of small business success, make sure you tune in to Level Up. I'm Denise Roberts, your host, and I will see you next time on Level Up, the bully pulpit for business in Prince George's County.
Through life's uncertainties, we're working to protect animals in our care and in the wild, and you can help. Your visit to an accredited member of the Association of Zoos and Aquariums helps save endangered species, from sea turtles to elephants to penguins. We're ready for your safe return. Come visit us here to save animals everywhere.
1 out of 5 young people struggle with disorders like depression, dyslexia, ADHD, OCD, eating disorders, and anxiety. Every one of us knows and loves one of these kids. For expert information and free resources, visit childmind.org.
If you smoked, get scanned. Talk to your doctor or learn more at savedbythescan.org.